We now turn to historian Nathaniel Frank. Nathaniel Frank is author of the book Unfriendly Fire, How the Gay Ban Undermines the Military and Weakens America. Nathaniel, thanks very much for your time.
Good to see you again, Rachel.
I know you've been pretty optimistic over time that we were on the verge of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. What's your reaction to today's loss in the Senate?
Well, it's a profound leadership failure. I mean, this is a policy that the American public wants to see repealed. It's a policy that increasingly the military itself, you have the Secretary of Defense, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and polls show that military opposition among the troops is dropping. And so to see it sort of go up in flames today is, of course, disappointing. You're right, I have been optimistic and haven't had the best track record on that, but still, we've come a long, long way since 1993 in terms of the culture, where the military is and what the research says on this, court cases striking it down. So I remain optimistic, but certainly this is a setback.
I know the White House said that it would not suspend implementation of the policy. It wouldn't stop kicking gay people out as part of a political compromise to get the votes for repeal. Whoever told them they would get those votes did not tell them the truth. Does it seem possible to you that the White House would consider now stopping kicking people out of the military pending the military study being released in January?
Well, it's important to understand that is an option. I think there are three options now forward. One is that during the lame duck session of Congress, although it's tough, it's going to be tough, it is possible for Congress for the Senate to actually do this. A second is an executive order, and there's documentation by lawyers for how this is an option under stop-loss powers of the White House to suspend this, as you've been saying. That is an option. And the third is to decide, for the president to decide not to appeal a federal court case that has just recently struck this policy down. And that's an option too. It looks like the president thinks that this policy is unconstitutional, even though he hasn't said that. The court judge herself cited the president, saying that this policy has failed to achieve its purpose and it actually undermines national security rather than protecting it. So all the research is in, all the evidence is in, and these are options. I'm not going to hold my breath about what the White House is going to do, but it's very important to understand that they do have options.
In terms of those three options, again, not asking you to speculate on things that you do not know about, but would each of those would have the same effectiveness? Would each of those be the same sort of death knell for the policy, or would one of those be temporary, one of those be a half measure? Is one of those things a more final way to approach it?
Well, I do agree that going through the Congress is the most permanent and is the preferable way to do this. Congress wrote this into law. Keep in mind that it was, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was born as an amendment to the defense spending bill. Right. So it would be just for it to disappear that way. An executive order could potentially be reversed, but it's very hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube when you've said people can serve openly. What are you going to then do? Tell everyone that they have to forget who's gay? It really doesn't work operationally. And the court case, I think, is maybe one of the more likely now, is for the president to say this actually is unconstitutional, and although there is a tradition of defending standing law, it's not obligated to defend a policy that it believes is unconstitutional, and that would certainly be a good way to go too.
Historian Nathaniel Frank, author of the book Unfriendly Fire, How the Gay Ban Undermines the Military and Weakens America. It's good to have you on the show tonight, Nathaniel. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Rachel.